On the first day, we started. Okay. On the first day, we started with why we beat ourselves up. We went in to look at why we should not be superwoman. We went in to also explore how that little voice inside our head keeps beating us up and how we should really learn to take a rest, chill pill without feeling guilty. We've seen lots and lots of topics, and today is, I think, by far one of my most favorite topics. Can you see my look and guess what it is? Come on, tell me if you know what it is. Who's going to tell me? What's our topic today? Hey, y'all are looking up emails now. That's not fair. I thought I was dressing the part so you wouldn't have to look at the email. The
Is it
topic
how
is
to become a
the
bitch?
elegance
of being a
how to
bitch?
become a bitch. No, we don't need to learn how to become a bitch. There's a bitch inside all of us already existing. But today
Okay.
we're going to tap into the elegance of being a bitch and how you can use that to your advantage, right? So yes, I tried my very best to look the part, but I guess I succeeded. So right, yeah. All right. So, but jokes apart, very warm welcome to all of you. How many of you have attended all the 3 days or 2 days or one day? Just put it in the chat box. How many days have you attended so far with me? Let me see. All the days. So, all 3 days. Amazing. Amazing. 2 days, 3 days, 3 days. Okay. 2 days, 2 days. All the days. Lovely, lovely. 2 days. All the days. Fantastic. I'm so glad to see that most of you have been with me throughout the series. And it's just a very different experience when I see you all live on call. Of course, people who have, restrictions and, maybe this is dinner time for their families, so they cannot join and they catch the replays. But it is when you guys join live that we co create this call, right? So if I had to talk by myself, there's only so much I can talk. But when y'all ask me questions, when y'all engage and interact, that's what really adds life to these beautiful calls. So, by the way, how many of you would say that at some point or the other, I have been a bitch? Give me a yes in the chat box if you have been a bitch. Shut up. My son is like, I've been a bitch, I've been a bitch. Okay, okay. So most of us admit that you have been a bitch. And how many of y'all feel like, oh my God, I'm so ashamed that I was a bitch. I don't want to look at that part of me. I want to like be the sweet girl, the nice girl next door, but I don't want to be a bitch. How many of y'all feel guilty? Give me a G in the chat box if you feel guilty, and give me a B in the chat box if you're like, no guilt or bitch. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, ooh. So bitches on this call. I can't believe it. I thought I was gonna have. So then this call is not needed. You all have already tapped into the elegance of being a bitch. Yay, my tribe is here. Okay, so let me share a little bit about. Okay, so is there anyone out here today who's absolutely new to the calls and this is the first call you're attending? Just write one in the chat box if this is the first call you're attending with me, because I saw a lot of new people have joined the group and I think we've crossed like over 300 on this Women's Day call series. So I'm super, super excited to see. Okay, y'all have tapped into being the bitch, not with the elegance. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But today we're going to look at the elegance of being a bitch, and why I think this is really important is we'll go into that. Okay. So, from what I understand, is there are no new people here. Most of y'all are the regulars who have been consistently with me from the day one of this call, and today's your day four. Super excited. Okay, now there was a quote I read by Madonna, right? And she says, "I'm tough, I'm ambitious, I know exactly what I want, and if that makes me a bitch, okay, I'm willing to be it." Right? And how many of us have judged other women for being a bitch. And okay, what is it even to be a bitch? So if you had to just close your eyes and think of somebody who was a bitch, a royal bitch, okay, what would you say she is being or doing which makes you call her a bitch? Who is she being? What is she doing? Come on. Let's explore that energy of being a bitch. Unnecessary attitude. Okay. Somebody who's giving a lot of attitude, and just go deeper. What is that attitude? Attitude is a very broad word, right? What attitude is it that you sense which makes you call somebody a bitch? There are lots of types of attitude, right? She's selfish. She doesn't care about others. Okay. Keep the answers coming. She's critical. She has malicious intent, unnecessary attitude, someone who's rude, someone who smokes. Okay. Someone who does whatever they want without bothering about others. Right? Who, according to you, is a bitch and why? Somebody who's self centered and wants all the attention for herself. Okay. What else? Somebody who's got tattoos, smokes, drinks. No? Okay. Pretentious. Okay. No empathy for others. Very good. Audacious. Okay. Someone who never cares after hurting the other person. Okay. Whatever vibes. Whatever. Okay. Those kind of vibes. Awesome. I see you, Ami. Love it. Love it. Awesome. So, yes, each one of you has touched and tapped into some of the qualities that people, or rather a woman, portrays when she is being a bitch, right? So when she's ambitious, when she doesn't care what other people think, or she doesn't care about hurting other people in going after what she wants, she's willing to manipulate, she's willing to put her interests before anyone else's interests. She's very, very focused and totally ruthless in her wanting to go after what she's after, right? So these are some of the things that we associate with being a bitch. And let me ask you another question. Can you look at the good aspects of being a bitch? Like all these things that you've said, the very strong undertone is all negative, right? Being a bitch is negative. But for a moment, if you just had to switch that connotation in your mind, right? Remember, nothing has any meaning other than the meaning you attach to it, right? So someone who was following whatever they want without caring about, like, listen, I don't care the price I have to pay. I am single-minded focus ke saath going after this thing. And think, at what point did you start or did you learn to judge this as a negative trait? Where did you learn this from? Did you hear it while growing up? Did you hear your mom or someone talking about it like that? Right? Just think, where did I learn to judge women who are ambitious, who are strong, who are focused, who don't give a damn about other people, who are willing to make bold decisions, willing to speak their mind, willing to uphold boundaries? At what point did we learn to think this is a bad thing? Because we are so restricted, Shreya says. Okay. And when you say because we are so restricted, what does that actually mean? In school or college, other people saying, don't be a bitch, yaar. In school, yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you were being the bitch, just think back in school, right? Most of you are saying in school or college. So what were you doing in school that somebody turned around and said, don't be a bitch, yaar? What was it that you were really doing? I mean, in school, you couldn't have possibly been doing anything vampish, right? You were possibly just doing something you really wanted to do, which was different from others, right? So, what were you doing that you got called as a bitch? Speaking my mind. Very good. Not wanting to follow the crowd. Very good. What else? We have some participants waiting. Doing fun stuff, things that I thought were fun. Okay. My son really wants to be part of this call. Say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, prioritizing oneself. Are you seeing your own answers? And just look at what you're saying. And I'm going to read it out to you again. I asked you, what were you doing in school or college that you got called for being a bitch? And people are saying, when I was prioritizing myself, right? When I was speaking my mind, when I was having or doing things that were fun for me, when I was doing something which I thought was the right thing and prioritizing myself again, that's when I got called a bitch. Isn't that fascinating? All the things that you and somebody saying I was sincerely studying, right? I was just following my heart. I was just doing what I thought I should be doing or I would love to be doing. And for being that, instead of conforming to what everybody else wanted to do and following the herd for setting healthy boundaries, I got called a bitch, right? Isn't that amazing how we took when a woman is standing up for herself, prioritizing herself, being strong, speaking her mind, doing what she loves, upholding healthy boundaries, she gets called a bitch by other women. And who are these other women who are judging these beautiful women? Women who are not bold enough to stand up for themselves. Women who are wanting to be so nice and appreciated by everyone that they don't have the guts to be different, right? Women who want to be sweet all the time, even at the cost of being fake. So, who's the real bitch? The one who's standing up and speaking her truth, or the one who's being fake? And the one who's judging the truthful one for being a bitch? Like, that's just messed up, right? So, if you actually think about it, when a woman is being a bitch, all she's doing is honoring herself. Now, just the way everything has two sides, right? So, yes, there are those women who are really good, the good bitch, like the good witch, the good bitch, who is doing something from coming from a point of, I will honor my truth, my likes, my dislikes, my voice, my identity. And then there are those people who are wanting to be a bitch coming from the space of, I'm going to hurt others, or I don't care if I hurt others to get my way. I'm going to take undue advantage, manipulate, or do something that's not acceptable. But, not all bitches are bad, right? And today, that's why I chose this topic. Let's talk about the elegance of being a bitch. So, let me share my story and my journey with being a bitch. So, I came from a girls' school. And in a girls' school, it's very common for everyone to call everyone a bitch, right? And I was one of those girls who would say, don't call me a bitch, okay? If you call me a bitch, just see, I won't be your friend anymore. Like, I was really triggered by the word bitch, even I think when I was a teenager, and I didn't really know what it means to be a bitch. But if someone said the word bitch, I was really triggered. Much later in college, again, when people would be talking to each other, I would get really worked up if somebody called me a bitch, and I would try to act cool about it, but I was so not. And much later, like almost 20 years later, when I sat to reflect on my journey, like, why does this trigger me so much? And I did it when I was learning shadow work. So when I learned shadow work and Ho'oponopono, I realized, like, wow, this is something I really get triggered by. Let me take a look and see what's really going on here. Now, here's what I realized. while growing up, there were some women in my family who were always called a bitch. And they were bitches because they were extremely, someone who went after what they wanted, hurt other people left, right, and center in the process, purposely created fights in the family, um, disrespected elders, took away more than what was due for them, didn't care about other people. So after seeing that, and I had gotten a little worried that, oh, which means being this, and I never want to be that. So I will fight it. But now here's the sad part. If you reject one part of being something, unfortunately, you reject the whole thing, right? It's like a knife can be used to chop vegetables and make an amazing salad or cook something nice. It can also be used to stab someone, right? Now, how you are using the knife it's dependent on whoever's holding the knife, right? So, likewise, you can be a bitch and do good and create greater for yourself, or you can do harm to the world. Again, it's depending on who is holding the power to be the bitch. And now, unfortunately, because my childhood reference points were negative, what I started doing was I rejected the whole key. It's like I'll never hold a knife only. I don't care if I can cook with it and, create amazing things with it. But because I never want to murder someone, so I'll never hold a knife. That's what we are essentially doing when we're saying being a bitch, right? So here I want you to just take a pause and understand this very, very important thing. If you judge something, you reject it as a whole. And this applies to everything. If you judge, for example, men, you are saying all men are bad. If you judge money, you are keeping yourself away from money, right? If you judge other women, you being a woman, you're also not going to receive your whole entire self. So write this down somewhere. Whatever I judge, I stop myself from receiving the gift of it. Whatever I judge, I stop myself from receiving the gift of it. And cheers to that. So, because I was judging the few reference points I had of
Uh, can you please repeat?
yeah, can someone put it in the chat box, please? So it's easier for everyone to, yeah, thanks. So, because my initial reference points were negative, I rejected the whole gift. It's not a package, it's like a package deal, right? Like the good and the bad comes in. It's like Shivji, right? He can be very bhola and very sweet and kind and loving. And he can be extremely destructive, like one third eye opens and full vinash. But he's a complete package. You can't just say, give me half, give me just this half, you keep that half away. He comes as a whole. And we pray to him because he is the ultimate Adina, the infinite being, because he can be this also and that also when needed. Likewise, right? Any woman can be Parvati and Lakshmi and Saraswati and can be Durga and Kali, right? So each of those aspects of being a goddess is within us. We can be nice, we can be bad. Nobody saw that, okay? We can be everything, but here it comes down to a matter of self-trust. Are you willing to trust yourself enough to say that I will be the bitch when I need to be? Like Shivji will open the third eye and destroy when he needs to, not just for fun, not just like that, right? I will stand up for myself, uphold boundaries, prioritize myself if there is an atmosphere where something is not working right. And that requires self trust. if you're willing to trust yourself enough to know, like with the knife, I will use it correctly, not go crazy with it, right? And when you have that sort of self trust, then you will give yourself access to the elegance and the beauty of being a bitch at will when it is going to create greatest for you. Okay, so here is me trying to say, oh, acha, this is why I hated being a bitch. Because from childhood, I had always seen these women behave in this way, and the rest of the family was judging them. And okay. So I understood why I had a negative connotation. But uh, understanding is one thing, actually becoming it is a different thing, right? I always say your journey is the information and knowledge is here, but our job is to bring it down here because you have to internalize the knowledge so it can become you and you can become it. We don't want to do it, we want to be it, right? Because we are human beings, not human doings. Okay. So, in that journey of mine, I asked the universe, and here's a beautiful way anyone, anything you want to learn, okay, ask the universe. So, I asked the universe in this way, and you can write this question down. Universe, show me the beauty and the elegance of being a bitch. Okay, write this down. You can say, universe, show me the elegance of being rich. You show me the elegance of being ambitious. Show me the elegance of being whatever, right? Universe, I asked the question when I was on this journey to tap into the elegance of being a bitch. I asked the universe a question. Universe, show me the elegance of being a bitch. And I'm going to share the most hilarious experience that happened for me. What is the theme, ma'am? Hi, Deepak. The theme is the elegance of being a bitch. And by bitch, we mean somebody who's willing to stand up for themselves, uphold healthy boundaries, and be strong and willing to not be a people pleaser, but follow their own heart, right? Prioritize themselves as well. So when I asked the universe, show me the elegance of being a bitch. Now, I went about my day. And when you ask the universe, you have to ask and forget about it. Okay. Somewhere or the other in the day or in the week, it will pop very organically. So I had gone to town. I live in Andheri. And I had gone to town that day for a meeting. After the meeting, my husband's office is very close by. So I decided he and I are going to have a date. While driving back for 2 hours in traffic, from Masjid Bandar, which is like town side Kolaba, to Andheri, which is evening traffic easy 2 hours. I said, we are going to have a car date. So I was really excited. I called him. I said, hey, I'm coming to pick you up. Be ready at like 5:30. I'll give you a call when I'm 5 minutes away. You just come down. And then I went to a store. I bought like packets of chips and thumbs up, chilled thumbs up, and picnic and wafers and like whatnot, chocolates. And I loaded the car, behind, and I said, Chalo, let's do a car date. It'll be so exciting. I reached my husband's office and 5 minutes away. I called up and I said, listen, I'm down. You come down in 5 minutes. I'm almost reaching. And he said, oh, but my friend is also there in office with me. Rajiv is there. And we'll take him along also. So now, obviously, my husband didn't know that I had planned a car date and I was really excited and I had stocked up. And he said, we'll take our friend. Now, he meets this friend every day in office. And I was just like, look, I'm coming for the first time. I'm possibly never going to come this side again. It's just too far. And I really didn't want to like miss out because I was really so excited about the date. Now the universe gave me the chance of like, are you going to be a bitch and are you going to, cancel Rajiv coming with you? Or are you going to say, yeah, okay, fine. And then feel so bad when you reach home and fight with Ankit and say, I wanted to do a date, but you didn't, you called Rajiv and you spoiled it. That's the other outcome. So I took a deep breath and I, very organically channeled the bitch mode a little bit. And I told my husband, I said, put it on speaker now. So my husband was like, okay, he didn't know. So I said, hi, Rajiv, how are you? And Rajiv was like, hi, I'm fine, I'm all well. And then before my husband could stop me, right, I had decided, planned very strategically. I said, Rajiv, I've planned a date for me and Ankit, if you don't mind, please, can you go by train? I really want to, have a date with Ankit tonight. And I've made some surprise plans which he didn't know. So he was inviting you. But if you don't mind, please. Now, my husband is mortified. He was like, Did you just do that? Like, how can you tell him no? And, he was like so embarrassed. He didn't know what to say. And Rajiv burst out laughing. He's like, yeah, yeah, you lovebirds, go, go. It's okay. I to anyways go by train every day. It's not going to make a difference to me. We hung up. My husband came down. He was furious. He was like, like so angry. He's like, did you just do that to my friend? How embarrassing is this? What is wrong with you? Why are you being such a bitch? And, like, how can you say such things to someone on their face? And I was like laughing because I had spoken my truth. I had not gone behind his back and offended him or told my husband, like, tell him not to come or something like that, right? I had been very honest in a very nice way. And I had gotten my way by being a sweet bitch. Okay. So after 5 minutes, my husband's gussa went off. And he was like, I mean, of course, then for 2 hours, we really had fun. We listened to all our favorite songs and we had all the chocolates and chips and thumbs up and whatnot. So it was really fun. But that was the first day I allowed myself to own the title of being a bitch without it making me cringe or small or, become like, no, no, I have to be sweet. They'll say, Arey, but Janki, we to thought you were so sweet. Why are you being suddenly so bitchy? Like, and I was like, no, when the need arises, I am willing to do this. See, if suppose, let's say if he was injured, if he was not well and we had to drop him and all, I would have agreed. I would have not that time still said, no, no, I want a date, so I don't care. You go to hell. But here, I knew I weighed the pros and cons. And for those 5 minutes, I was willing to be judged by my husband, by Rajiv. He could have turned around and felt offended. But because I was speaking my truth with compassion, with a straightforward, honest, jo hai wo hai, right? He did not get offended. And here's the thing, if you judge yourself for being a bitch, people will judge you. If you accept and come from a clean space, people will not judge you. And here's the third thing. Honestly, a bitch doesn't care whether you judge her or not. Okay? And yesterday or the day before, when we were talking about this topic, somebody said, Priyanka Chopra is badass, right? She goes after what she wants. She doesn't give a damn about, pleasing people or marrying someone younger than her, getting into producing also, Hollywood also, Bollywood also, making music videos also, like whatever. She does it all with a lot of panache. She's not, a weak tea. She's a strong tequila. It's like that, right? And that's what I want to invite you. So if you had to now just close your eyes and ask yourself, if I was being that energy, badass, bitch, which means simply someone who is willing to stand up for herself, speak up for herself, follow her heart, do what she thinks is the right thing to do instead of trying to be nice and people pleasing, and in the process, then being wicked to herself, right? What is it that's really stopping me? And what did I get out of getting the approval? Huh? She's a very nice girl, huh? What did you get out of it? People walked all over you. They took you for granted. They manipulated you. Why? Because they could, and because you were not willing to, right? So today, I invite you. Are you willing to stand up for yourself? Are you willing to trust your own knowing? My husband's reaction for the first 5 minutes, he was furious. He was angry because he had never seen me do something so stupid or be such a bitch. But then he was like, okay with it. He was like, okay, this was fun. Okay, so it paid off at the end. Okay, so I'll tell you another example. Sometimes there are times where you will get an intuition from inside. You will get an inner knowing, and there's no explanation for it. But in your gut, you know that this is exactly what you're supposed to do. People will expect an explanation. People will expect logic. People will expect, you to explain to them and convince them. And on some days, you will not have an answer. And unless you're willing to be true to yourself, right? And for some time, I'm just going to switch the word bitch to someone who's being true to themselves, authentic, not have to put up a face that I'm a nice person and everyone has to like me. I read somewhere the only person who everyone likes is the pani puri wala. It was so random. But I liked it, because he's like, अच्छा तुमको तीखा चाहिए, I'll give you तीखा. तुमको मीठा चाहिए, I'll give you मीठा. तुमको खट्टा चाहिए, I'll give you खट्टा. तुमको आलू चाहिए, okay. तुमको मूंग चाहिए, okay. He's the one who's supposed to please everyone, not us, right? So the people who will like us will like us. The others can, it's okay. There's somebody else who will like them and they will like. Okay? So there are some days when you will have to be true to yourself where you will not have an explanation. Just one sec, guys. Okay, so coming back, when you have to be true to yourself, it will mean displeasing some people because they will not understand you. They might not be willing to support you. They might try to control you by judging you. Now, remember one thing, people judge you because they want to control you. So when suppose I hear my teacher say, oh my God, उसने देखो कितना short dress पहना है, so bad. What I understood is, oh, so I should never wear a short dress, otherwise she'll call me bad. Now she just controlled me, unknowingly or knowingly, I don't. But we just got controlled, right? When I hear, like I had gone to a family function 2 weeks ago, and some of the mother-in-laws that we were sitting with were judging one of the 26-year-old daughter-in-laws who had gone first day of marriage. And she told her mother-in-law कि देखो मैं तो खाना नहीं बना सकती, मैं बनाऊंगी भी नहीं, मुझे थोड़ा बहुत शायद आता भी है, बट मुझे अच्छा भी नहीं लगता और मैं बनाऊंगी भी नहीं, तो एंड वी कैन अफोर्ड इट, तो हम कुक रख लेंगे. एंड द मदर इन लॉ वाज वेरी ऑफेंडेड कि व्हाट डू यू मीन कुक रख लेंगे, 3 ही तो जन है घर में, तो व्हाई कांट यू कुक फॉर अस. And she was just being true to herself and she said, I really don't like it. It doesn't bring me joy. We can afford it. I'm not willing to do it. And she said, yeah, if we couldn't afford it, maybe I would have. If saving that 3, 4, 5,000 rupees was very crucial for the family, I would have. But it's not. So I'm not putting myself through that. Right. And of course, everybody judged the life out of her. But it's been 10 years to her marriage now, and she's very happy. And so is the mother-in-law, because now everyone has a cook and everyone's happier. Okay. So people will judge you to try and control you. If you don't get controlled, they don't like you because you threaten them. You not only threaten them, but you also make them realize that, hey, I'm willing to stand up for myself. You're not. Poor you. And people don't like being made to feel like that. Right? So now write down 3 situations where it would really help for you to be a bitch and stand up for yourself. Write down right now 3 situations of your life where you will say, okay, from tomorrow, I'll make sure that I be true to myself. I will stand up for myself. I will uphold boundaries. I will prioritize myself. I will do what brings me joy. I will speak my truth. I will be authentic and show up as I am instead of just trying to be a pani puri wala. Okay, write that down. Did you all write 3 places, 3 areas, 3 situations that you are currently facing where it would really help for you to be a witch? My boys have totally learned everything about being a witch in the background. And they're so excited because they know, oh, this is one of those words we're not allowed to speak. And they've just heard Mama say it 100 times already right now. So they're like, oh my God. Well, they're a little more respectful of the badass women now, I guess. Everybody's written. Now, here's one more thing that I just remembered. Sometimes, yeah, I did a session. Okay. I was doing a one-to-one session with a client who came back from a bachelorette in Bali. And she was very angry because, her friend was getting married. And then she had called a group of girlfriends and they had all gone to Bali together. And when this client of mine came back, she was so angry that some of the girls there were just being such bitches and they were doing this and they were doing that. And I don't know how they can do that to, other people. And I don't know why they were behaving like this. And she was just so furious and angry and upset and hurt. And, when I did that session for her, she was one of those very bright Forbes 30 under 30, super ambitious women herself. But yet she was struggling with, these other girls just being so bitchy. And when I asked her, I said, what is it that they were doing that was making you so angry? What is it that they were really being when you were getting so triggered? And she said, they were just not caring about me. So I said, who were they caring about? She said, themselves. Right. And if they didn't, like, I invited them to do something and they didn't want to, and they just said no. And I said, what does that make you feel deep inside? And she said, of course, I hated it. I felt rejected. And I said, but if you had to really look at the gift in this, what would it be? If you had to also be able to do that, she said, I would love to be able to do that, where if I didn't want to do something, I would just say no instead of saying, yeah, let's do it to please the other person so that they wouldn't feel bad, even if I really didn't want to do it. And she said, it would be a real gift if I can stand up for myself and, not really care and say, no, I really don't want to do this. Thank you, but no thanks. And then she realized, she's like, oh, that's why I hated those women. And that's why they triggered me so much, because they were willing to be what I was not giving myself the permission to be. And think about the women you hate. They are all being what you are not willing to let yourself be. I'll give you another example. Another client who came to me very angry, lots of fights in the family. Devrani Jethani, 2 sisters-in-law. And the older one was not working. She was a stay-at-home mom. And the younger one was going to work. Now the older one would feel कि मुझे ही सब करना पड़ता है. This one, मैडम तो पर्स उठा के सुबह चले जाते हैं. हमें घर पे रह के खाना बनाओ. In-laws को संभालो, ये करो, वो करो. So I said, what do you hate the most about her? Is the fact that she just picks up her purse and leaves without caring about the house. And I said, don't you love you had the balls to do that? And she said, yeah. I mean, I would love to, but, I don't have the guts to do that. I said, there. Now, yeah, that's another thing about me. I don't sit and tell my clients, oh, poor you. I'm so sorry for you. I don't do too much of that. I make them see a very clear, funny image of themselves, and I show them how hilarious they are being. And most likely, they're always laughing. And there are some of you who've done sessions with me here, and irrespective of how big a sob story you come to me with, I will leave you laughing at the end of the session, right? So that's what the minute I show them where exactly they are being exactly what they're judging, or not giving themselves the permission to be exactly what they're judging, and there she felt lighter. And now, same way, her biggest irritation of this woman for being a bitch became an inspiration. Like, wow, someday even I will have the guts to do this. But until then, the universe has sent her into my world to inspire me daily. You don't have to go Priyanka Chopra for inspiration. You have one in the house. Okay. So this is what actually the women who are being a bitch are simply those women who have a very deep desire. They are willing to follow it and are willing to pay the price for it. Which means that if you are judging them as somebody who's bad, they are saying, okay, judge me, but I'm still getting what I want. And the more I grow up, the more I'm respecting that instead of judging it, because I think that's a woman who's just being true to her own desires. And yes, this doesn't mean I'm giving you green signal to be hurting other people, right? I'm not saying that. But yes, you will hurt some because you can't please everyone. But if you also have to hurt people, do it with love and compassion. Like sometimes, as a woman, when I have to make a hard decision, like right now, I could very easily be judged for being a bitch because my family could turn around and say, hey, this is what, 9, 10 o'clock in the night, family time, and you're, with clients on Zoom call, trying to be very like famous and all. Like, what is this? But like, I have to explain to them while holding my ground and saying, like, this is something I really want to do. Most women only get free after dinner, which is why I've chosen this time. It's not that I don't care for the family, but so when I come from a very clean space in my heart, when I don't have rebel attitude, where I'm saying, I don't care, I'm still going to do it. You never understand me. Too bad. I don't give a damn. That is not so cool. But when you are willing to uphold whatever it is that you want to do, coming from a space of love and compassion, not only understanding yourself, but also holding space for their discomfort. Like, yes, I know it's going to inconvenience you a little bit. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever I can to, make sure as much as possible I can make it easier, but I'm not going to give up on what I need to know, what I need to do. So you are making both people important, not only myself, not only them. Because when you only make them important, means you've totally killed your own dreams and desires, and then you'll be very cranky and bitter. People will think you're very nice. Bar say you look very sweet, hanji, hanji, namaste. I'm such a sweet girl. But from inside, you'll be giving them galis. Because of you, I never went out of the house and worked. Because of you, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you only make yourself important and them not important at all, you will be somewhere or the other deep down feeling extremely, maybe, hopefully, guilty. Right? And we don't even want that, because then you are actually cutting away your support system. At the end of the day, a woman, of course, we say she can do it all alone, but she shouldn't have to. And this is the support system, the family, our friends, the other women. We need each other, right? So stay true to yourself, speak your truth with love and compassion, also support and uphold other women and men, of course. Right? Now, questions. And of course, please raise your hands. I will ask you to unmute and then you can ask your question. Don't just start speaking. So, but before we even take questions, would you like to share how you see this information that I've given you today about the elegance of being a bitch? How what did it make you think? Yes, Shamta, yes. Shamta Thakkar. Hi.
Hi, hello, ma'am. Yes, today's session, I think it's an eye-opener for me because from past 2, 3 days, I've been watching your session along with my mother-in-law, watching TV serials and that noise, and on the dining table, I'm sitting and watching just out of that thing that she shouldn't feel left out. And this is the time my husband comes home. So he should not feel that, I leave her alone and I'm in the room all the time, because I pursue a lot of other hobbies and I have my classes also during the day. So, like, whoever she meets or whoever calls up, she'll say, she's whole day in her room, God knows what she's doing. She's whole day. So that guilt is so much now. When my husband is about to come or something, I see to it that I'm in the drawing room watching. And I feel so, and I don't like watching at all. But somehow, and I miss so many parts, whenever you're saying anything because of the serial noise and all. So I like make efforts to listen to what you say.
Yeah.
So so I don't know how to, but morning sessions, I have my one other course that I have made it clear and very tactfully I do it. So what I feel ki subah to I'm managing, that one part. So the night part, I should not take a chance, ki then I'll be in the bad books.
Yeah.
So
So can I share something? And I can totally relate to what you're saying, Shamta, because even my mother-in-law sometimes I hear her saying this, ke, खबर नहीं रूम में आखो दिवस भराઈને શું કરે છે.
that is a Gujarati
So
typical
we
mindset,
have it, but I'll tell you what really started helping me shift this. Yeah. What really started helping me shift this was when I started involving her in what I was doing. Like I would go out and tell her, oh, I had this client section, this happened, or today I have
Okay.
this call, I'm going to talk about this, or today I had this workshop, this is what I taught them. These were some of the questions they had. They asked me these kind of problems. Now, when I started involving her, she would get so excited. Okay, tell me more. Oh my God, you're doing all this. Oh my God, there were 150 people in your workshop. That is so cool. How do you manage this crowd all alone? Yeah. Huh, that's why you need to sit in a quiet room. And also, what happens is when you start sharing, they feel involved, right? They know what you are doing. So there is less that sense of FOMO, okay, oh, you're doing it to ignore me. I'm not doing it to ignore you. I'm not doing it to cut you out or stay away from you. I'm doing it because my work requires me to be in a closed space so I can focus, or there should not be background noise. Right. So when I started involving her more and more proactively, like sometimes I have to go out of town for 3, 4, 5 days for workshops. Sometimes I have to, but if I'm, discussing it, oh, on the first day we're going to do this, second day. So she knows, otherwise she's like, why 5 days? You can just go in 2 days and come, right? So the more I share, the less judgy or less, whatever she is of me, and the
Oh,
more accepting and understanding. So this is a tip for you. Just try
yes,
and start telling her what is it that you're doing when the room is closed. Why do you
right.
closed, and proactively go and spend like 15 minutes in the day asking her about her day, chatting about your day. So a lot of times for me, even though I get free from my gym and morning routine at around 10, 10:15, I don't start work till 11, 11:30 because I'm sitting and chatting with her. Like I give her that time
Yeah.
so she feels कि okay अपनी बात
Ma'am, even
कहेगी.
I watched literally 2, 3
So
serials with her. She
one
expects
more
that, so I do everything.
okay, one more thing I will tell you. The more you think deep down that actually me sitting inside the room is wrong, the more
Hmm.
she will continue to judge you for it. I
Yes, I
don't
have
feel,
that.
yeah. So I don't feel that I'm doing something wrong, which is why I get judged less. On some days it
Right,
might still happen. So I say sorry, I'm sorry I've been out in the room, and I own it. And the minute I
right.
own it without beating myself up more, it diffuses very fast. Right?
Yes,
So
I get
I
it.
would say
Yeah.
don't watch those serials with her. Find another way to bond with her or make her feel so that you are honoring yourself also and her also.
Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, yes. This is an eye opener actually, because like I should tell her. I show her, in mobile. See, so many ladies are sitting. अरे बाप रे, આટલી બધી આ લોકોને કઈ કામ ધંધો નથી, like she will say. I said, ના નથી બધા કામની જ વાત ચાલે છે, I'll tell her. So it happens like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But gradually, I think she'll understand.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
you for asking. Yes, Ami.
Hi, Janki.
Hey, Ami. So good to see you.
You too. So, just getting onto the question quickly, is that when you're coming into your power to, sort of, getting more into being yourself and whatever, and, speaking your mind and all, but you're dealing with somebody who is being the elegant bitch that they are, man or woman or whatever. And, there's always like that bit of clash, like, because they'll stand up for themselves and you'll sort of want to be heard and whatever. How do you reconcile that? Like, for example, the example that you gave about that Derani Jethani and the one who was a housewife and the other was working. Like if the homemaker lady had to stand up for herself and say, hey, I need help around the place and you need to contribute more or whatever. And there are chances that there'll be a resistance from the other side or whatever. And how do you reconcile that and sort of manage that to get there?
Yeah. Honestly, Ami, that's a great question. And from my experience, what I realized was that the more I was focused on actually getting that support or finding a solution versus proving that they are bad and I'm a victim and they are the victimizer and they are just out here to make my life miserable. So if my focus was to actually find a solution, that solution comes very easily. But if I'm more focused on proving, okay, see, I asked for help, but they didn't help. See, I knew it. So when your focus is to prove that they are wrong and you are right, and you are the bichara and they are the villains, so then you will just create more drama. And then that's not actually being you standing up for yourself. That's you being manipulative. That's you being the not nice bitch, right? When you're actually, so the bitch, and when I talk about the elegance of being a bitch, it's that you are not falling for the petty, that emotional tug of war or the power games. You are
Hmm.
actually following what will create the greater good, the greatest good for everyone, not only for you,
Mhm.
right? So when someone is actually functioning from that space, so in this case of the daughter-in-laws, let's say the older one asks the younger one for help, and the younger one might just turn around and say, okay, from what I'm sensing is that you don't really want to cook. So cool, I'm earning a salary and I know you're not, but on behalf of the both of us, let's just keep and I'll pay that salary if I'm not the one who's helping. So that actually gets the solution. But
Yeah.
then but then the person might say, no, no, but if I'm cooking, you should also cook. So what if you're going out? Then
Yeah,
that's
no,
you petty, right? So
yeah,
which is
no, that's not very.
when you get into the petty politics and power games and doing tit for tat, just because I do it now, you also have to do it. I will not suffer alone. I'll drag you down with me. Then that mentality is not of an, expansive bitch. Then that's a very contracted, small, petty mindset. And that's not what we're talking about becoming. We're talking about becoming that expansive space which actually creates greatest for everyone involved. And it will always be expansive. It'll always be uplifting. It might be bitter initially, but if you look at the gift of what that invitation is holding, you will see that it does create greater for you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like sometimes, there is this, when you look at somebody who is, being the potency that they are, there's this bit of envy also, like, shit, why can't I be that too, kind of a thing. And then you have to reconcile that too, in the sense of,
And
yeah,
here's where I keep saying this over and over, and that's exactly what I'm saying. The minute you see someone doing and saying, shit, I wish I could do that, please go and thank that woman in person or in your head and say, wow, this is an inspiration. I'm also going to get there. If you can do it, I can do it. And the best thing is, I can watch you and learn.
yeah. Like I've had people, like I'll go and read in a bar alone and drink a beer, instead of a coffee shop because I enjoy a beer. And there have been many women who've come to me saying that it's so empowering for us to see like a single girl sitting here enjoying her beer, reading her book, and having a good time without company and stuff like that. And it's so good. And then we start talking and actually sharing, which is so much fun, and you just make new friends.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
Absolutely.
wanted to actually share a clearing that I was playing with a little while back. Was what will it take for me to be the rich bitch that I truly be?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What will it take? And anything that doesn't allow us, boom, bottom fall.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
amazing.
Hi,
Amazing.
Janki. Hi, Janki.
There are too many high junkies here. Hi, Ria.
Yeah, Ria. Actually, there's a mess up with the name, Ria. Uh, Janki, I have a little question for you. So, when you yourself are not sure about what you do, like probably only in life about your career path, and you yourself are figuring out what am I made for, what am I not. So, how can you still like hold that like resistance? And then also like, seem very like confident in front of the people that you are sure that you from the inside are feeling that, yeah, this is something that I really want to give my best shot. But then you're also apprehensive of the fact that if you are going to stick to it for long, and that's going on in your mind, and because of that, like, your confidence when you're telling it about when you're sharing it with your family, it's just like seems very shaky.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, these are the nuanced questions is I love. Here's what I would say, right? The time our confidence is shaky is when we're trying to be something we're not. So I would say if you're not confident and not clear, if you had to actually be authentic and vulnerable and tell them that,
Hmm.
like this is something I'm really kicked about, but I don't know where I'll be and how can you support me or help me to get clarity?
Hmm.
I found over the last few years,
Hmm.
just give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Ria.
Yeah,
So the
Janki.
time where your confidence, when you feel like you said a word, when you're feeling shaky, did you say? You said something. You used a word.
Oh, apprehensive.
Yeah. So if you're showing one thing and feeling one thing, there is, a duality, and that's where there is conflict. And then you don't know whether I'm here or here. But I'm saying if you're here, show this to a certain degree, but show it from a very empowered space, right? Don't show it from, oh my God, it's wrong for me to have confusion. Show it from, of course, confusion is the most natural thing. Like I
Hmm.
figured what I wanted to do only at the age of 33. I didn't know
Really?
until 33 what I wanted to do. I mean, I did a lot of things, but the
Mm-hmm.
confusion that I have now, I never had back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Can I
saying,
ask you your career trajectory? I mean, I'm
sorry.
just curious. Can I ask you your career trajectory? I'm just very curious.
Yeah, sure. So I lived pretty much a checklist life. Like, you know how they say you graduate at this age, then you do your MBA, then you get married, child number one, child number two. Like I did all that perfectly. But
Mm-hmm.
it was only, and I worked at corporates for a couple of years after a MBA. I was HR business partner in my last job. Then I went on maternity leave, and during maternity leave is where I got this little voice whispered to me that Janki, your corporate stint is over, something else now. And every day I would wake up and ask universe, okay, I'm here to serve you. What would you have me do?
Mm-hmm.
What would you have me do? What would you have me do? And when I would get up and I would just ask once every day. It's not like I was chanting. And I would talk to people. I would try to get ideas. Can you tell me what I can do? Can you tell me what I can do? And everyone gave me, whatever they thought I was good at. So somebody said, oh, you're good at English, start English tuitions. And somebody said, oh, you're good with children, start a daycare center. And somebody said, oh, you're so confident, you should be in sales. And somebody said, you should start a recruitment firm of your own and become a part-time HR consultant and sell on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. Like everybody gave me ideas based on their,
Opinion
perception,
of you.
or the way
Yeah.
they saw me. But
Mm-hmm.
none of it resonated. And I was just like, yeah, but I think something else, something else, something else. And every day again, I would ask. Almost after a month, I got like again this whisper when I woke up. And it said, Janki, I think you're not, I think, like you're going to help people be happy. You're going to heal them. You're going to heal and help people to be happier. And I said, yeah, that. Again, I don't come from a psychology background, so I had no clue how to do it. Again, I
Mm-hmm.
asked, like, okay, itna bata diya, so now tell me where would you like me to study? What would you like me to study? Where should I get certified? Which are the institutes? What are the courses?
Wow.
Please, I'm not even going to do research. You just give it to me on a platter. I'm very lazy like that. And again, I got it on a platter. I got all the support because when I started studying, my baby was 6 months old. So I was
Oh.
quite a bitch at that time, according to traditional standards, to leave a 6 month old baby and go pursue a new career. When my mother-in-law and my mom both were like, listen, 5 saal baad kar lena, what is the rush? And I said, no, the universe is telling me I have to do this now. 5 saal baad will be too late.
Yeah.
I went, and the minute I cleared my judgments of it, like I came from a very clean space that no, this is something I need to do. This is like my mission in life. The universe, what they say, conspires for you to have it. So my mom and my mother-in-law, my husband, my father-in-law, everybody said, it's okay, you go study, we'll figure out, both the kids at home. Everybody pulled in, and here I am after 7 years.
Wow.
So that's what my trajectory has been. But there were times before I became a happiness coach that I would question every day, like, what am I doing? Like, really, is this all there is to life? Am I even doing the right thing? Oh shit, I should have done that. Oh shit, I should have done that. Or why didn't I do that? There was a lot of confusion, a lot of doubt, a lot of, going back and forth on your own decisions. But ultimately, it all works out in the end. And I would say that initially somebody said, oh, but imagine if you had not done this at 33 and at 23 only when you started your career 10 years back, if you would have become a healer and happiness coach. And I said, no chance, because the confidence I get now when I'm doing executive coaching with CEOs, managing directors, the kind of confidence I get in managing 150, 200, 300, 400, 500 people workshops is all thanks to the
Yeah.
corporate exposure I have. So no experience goes to waste. Everything is actually a perfect building block towards your journey if you're
Yeah.
willing to take the gift of it instead of judging it as a bad thing.
Ma'am, but on this, can I ask
Thank you.
Sorry, Ria, I couldn't hear that.
Ma'am, on this, can I ask something?
Yes, Sakshi.
Ma'am, like, first of all, you were 33 when your child
Thank
was
you
6
so much.
months old.
Thank you, Janvi.
Sorry, just Ria, did you say
She was
something?
saying thank you. She was saying thank you.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Ma'am, you were 33 when your second child was 6 months old.
Yeah. 32, 30. Yes, yes.
So, ma'am, actually, like, in my case, I would like to ask, like, I am 33 now. I'm 34 now. But my younger son is now 6 years old. And I also have this confusion dilemma. Like, I have 2 3 dreams, like, because I'm doing MBA and because I have my husband has my own company, so I want to join business also. But I feel to get my own position, like that I would always be like my director's wife or director's daughter-in-law. I want to start my own business, maybe something that is not available in Haridwar, like robotics or animation. And I have this confusion also because kids are small. And same my mother-in-law and my mother says कि don't take so much stress, कि बच्चों के साथ जितनी पढ़ाई हो रही है जितना वर्क हो रहा है करो.
Sakshi, it is, you will always know from within, right? For me, there was a lot of clarity from within कि हाँ, अब ये जो मुझे मिल गया है, this is my life path and this is what I'm going to do. वो अंदर से there was complete clarity. Likewise, trust that when that clarity will come for you, you will know and the universe will align so that you can pursue whatever it is that you are also meant to pursue. So if you are confused about it, if you are,
Like my MBA we have finished this June. Now I was doing MBA only to do double post graduation so that I can do PhD in management. So I would have two options कि मेरे नाम के आगे doctor आ जाएगा. Until my kids get more older, I can join a government job as a lecturer,
yeah,
or I can start my institute as a doctor, like as a PhD.
big question.
So, but should I start business now? Should I start my own business or should I wait 4 years for PhD again?
No,
How
Sakshi,
do I
that is
decide?
something I can't answer for you. As I said, you will have to tap into your own knowing, connect to the universe, get the answers from the correct source. I will guide you. I might say yes or no, but it doesn't matter. You have to, you're the only one who knows your situation. And this applies to everyone, guys. I want you all to understand when you hear my story, don't think, oh, yeah, even I'm 33. She left a 6 month old child and went, so I can also go. You are the only one who knows your situation ka every element, every angle. You are the only one who knows your nature, your mother-in-law's nature, your mother's nature, your husband's nature, your father-in-law's nature. Now, given my situation, I did what I did. It worked out. It paid off very nicely. But only you can take your own decision, and only you will know what is right for you. Irrespective of what others give you advice, please do not fall for that.
We
You
take
will
our
have
own
to
decisions, but ma'am,
ask your
family के साथ
question, Sakshi, ask your question, get your answers from the universe, from God, from whoever, and follow your heart. In your heart, ultimately, like 1000 answers भी मिल जाए ना, like people were giving me all advice. लोगों ने बहुत कुछ कहा, ये कर लो, वो कर लो. Ultimately, I would sit with myself and ask, is this really for me? I would get a no. I would get a no. And I was like, ठीक है, नहीं, नहीं, नहीं. The day I heard and my heart lit up कि हाँ, ये, then fatak se I went ahead. So the day you will get that clarity, go ahead. Until then, take it easy and keep exploring.
ओके सो वी डोंट केयर, मतलब अगर मैंने हार्ड पाथ भी चुना, एक न्यू बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने का, रिस्क लेने का, प्रॉपर्टी लेने का, सो माय हार्ट सेज दिस, सो तो मुझे बहुत ज्यादा नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मम्मी क्या सोच रही हैं या मम्मी
Yeah.
जी डरा, लोग
If
केयर
it
करने के लिए
guides
भी बोलते
you
हैं
up,
कि आप थक
if,
जाओगे, फंस जाओगे.
if every cell in your body is feeling excited and lit up at the thought of doing something, do it. Bas,
ओके
finish.
ओके मैम, ओके.
Yes, Neha.
Hi, Janki. Hello, everyone. And I really want to show a very deep gratitude, of course, from all of us. These 4 days have been fantastic, at least from my side. I can just say that because, as you just said before coming to the question Q&A part, the best part, my experience, I would say, in the past 4 days, you've helped us shed a lot of inhibitions and the self-pasted labels on ourselves, and how easy it was, to just come out of that. Secondly, you really made it very simple to understand how the perspectives or the belief systems have been formed. So the way you define, like, how do you consider somebody to be bitch? So we were the ones who were asking, that these are the attributes of a person whom we might call a bitch, and now we are looking forward to why not being a bitch. So yeah, that is something really amazing. And many a times, we have been feeling that, just because of the fear of these labels and what people say, we always have the gears up, the guards up, always in that fight and flight mode, always like, freezing at certain moment, or like fawning, like, people pleasing into it. There's a lot of clarity in these 4 days as to, why we have been doing whatever we had been doing till now. So this was the experience I wanted to share. As for the question, I had been holding the question since yesterday's session. You had mentioned one line, that the script of your life has been written. So is it possible to change the narrative by living or like witnessing that script?
This is something I'm still exploring, but I will share what I've understood. It's definitely the narrative that you're attaching. So your life events are written.
Okay.
What people are going to say to you, do to you, what you will do, and all is written. But how you choose to feel about it, whether you see yourself as a victim or a hero, whether you see that life is happening to me or for me, that is in your hands. That much free will you have.
Yes.
Suppose you are going to go take out your car from the driveway and somebody else is going to come and bash into you. That is written, it will happen. But in that moment whether you say, oh, the whole universe is against me, मैं तो घर से निकलते ही कुछ खराब हो जाता है, I'm तो jinxed only, or you say, thank God, इतना ही हुआ ना, I'm safe, my car is safe, just there's a small dent, it's okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
what
safe
you
at
make
least,
of
yeah.
it in the moment, that is the free will you have.
Okay.
Other than that, everything is written. But the narrative you attach, whether
Attach
it's
the meanings
positive,
we
negative,
attach.
comedy, horror, like tragedy, whatever it is, that is in your hands. So yes, the narrative is in your hands, but what happens is not in your hands.
If you may allow, the yesterday's session, the theme of yesterday's and today's session just got me back to, there was one of the event with the radio here in Indore, my FM, on Women's Day. The theme of that was who to whom, like, the subjective labels and the judgments around the women. So when I was like taken on the call, I instantly came up with like, few lines, some poetic lines. So constantly I was just, getting the recalls again and again yesterday. So would you mind like if I just share those lines here?
Sure, Neha, go ahead.
Okay, like if everybody is okay. Yeah, so for 7 days, the program, I'm a psychologist, by the way. So I was interviewed, just to talk about the perspectives, when women are being judged, marrying a little late in life, being overweight, short in height, or the complexion, or not like being, able to communicate fluently in English. So these were the major topics that were discussed across the week. And on the last day, when the radiographer just asked me to share something, I could just instantly impromptu come up with these things. So it goes like, it's in Hindi. मैं शान हूँ इस देश की, माता पिता का मैं अभिमान हूँ प्रेम अपने प्रीत का, अपने बच्चों का मैं सम्मान हूँ। न बांधना तुम मुझे अच्छाई में बुराई में, न नापना तुम मुझे कुछ अंकों की ऊंचाई में, न ढूंढना तुम मुझे बाहरी सौंदर्य की परछाई में। जानती हूँ सब डुबोना चाहते हैं मुझे विचारों की गहराई में। न तोलना संख्याओं में, न जीत में न हार में, न सोचना रहूंगी खड़ी मैं हमेशा ही मझधार में। मैं तो हूं बस वो हवा जो चलूं प्यार से तो सुकून दूं, और जो बिफर पड़े तो फिर एक तूफान बनूं। ऐसी हूं या वैसी हूं, जैसी हूं बस खुश में हूं, और मैं जो भी हूं बस हूं तो हूं।
How lovely, so beautifully written. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Amazing poetry and written very thoughtfully. Loved it.
Thank you.
Super love, super love.
So while
Please
we were all working on like
share your Instagram handle. I think it'll be really nice to maybe take a clipping of this and we'll share it on the group.
Certainly. So yesterday when Dr. Marpatia was talking now about like her story, I could feel each and every woman, has been through that phase. And
Yeah,
so did I. Not going
yeah.
to go into the narrative of that. But yeah, this was something that, just made me recall these words, ki why can't we just being ourselves? And your themes, like, everyday themes that you're coming up every day, I'm just concluding by the end of the class. Rather than just being what we are, we have always thought about becoming what others, like, other people want us to do. So this narrative has been changed in this class. It has been really very much fruitful to me. Thank you so much.
Yay! Thank you for sharing that. Thanks, Neha. Amazing, amazing. Yes, Padma.
Hi, Janki.
Hey, Padma.
It's been a wonderful session till now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, I started with visualization right now. Okay. So now when like basically it's his first or second time when I started doing it. So when I think of the situation, there is self-doubt or negativity popping out. I don't know whether, see, the thing is like what I'm visualizing is something very abstract. I don't even know whether it's going to happen, not going to happen. So there is always a self-doubt. There's no positivity. Arey, aisa hi hoga. There's no clarity. I mean, there are negative thoughts coming back. So how do we stop those coming like?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I know this is a whole topic and I have a whole class around this on, the manifestation masterclass. But if I had to tell you that don't run away from the negative thoughts, face them head on and complete the line of thought. So, ये हो जाएगा तो, right? तो क्या होगा? Tell yourself क्या होगा and see, हाँ तो होगा, ठीक है. So at max, okay, then I'll do this or I'll do that. And create a backup plan so that your mind is well rested ki haan, theek hai, this will be taken care of. Your mind throws up negative thoughts to protect you. Your mind is simply saying, yeah, this could go wrong. So don't ignore it. Say, yes, it could go wrong. If it goes wrong, this is what I'll do. I'll be able to handle it. Don't worry.
See, right now, like my daughter is in 10th. She's appearing for both. So I was visualizing her, she's getting somewhere around 98%. That is what she's also manifesting. So I was just trying to visualize. But then there was a doubt. That time it is like,
Yeah. So the first time it comes up, you create a backup plan. The next time
Okay.
it comes up, you have to say, thank you for sharing, but I've taken care of this. Ye hoga hi hoga. Don't worry.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
like a little child, Mama, what if I fail? Mama, what if I fail? You tell her, I know you're going to pass. Don't worry. I know you're going to pass. So like you'll have to learn to talk back to your mind and tell it, ki don't worry, I've taken care of everything. Sab kuch theek hi hoga.
Okay.
Like the
Okay.
first
Thank
time you'll have to address the negative thought कि okay, this could be a genuine outcome कुछ होने के लिए तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. But now I'm telling you, I've taken care of it. अब सब ठीक ही होगा.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi.
Well, you're welcome. Yes, Pratibha.
Hello, ma'am. Actually, I want to tell that actually I'm a student also right now.
Okay.
So the thing I want to tell is that I just can't study.
Okay.
Study means I want to study and every I now exam is nearing, but when I open my book, I just can't concentrate. I just can't focus, and various thoughts comes into my mind. I have to study this, that, and all those things. And initially, also I had some problem with attention, but now it is devastating. Actually, I cannot even read a paragraph. That much it is disturbing me. So
Hmm.
many thoughts come in, and I just can't focus. I just can't concentrate. I just don't know what to do. That means
Yeah.
problem it is
So
creating.
there are three things.
Every day, ma'am. One more thing, most of the days when I get a insight, I am like that. I just make a timetable, and from the very next day, I will just ignore it. I don't know. And again, the cycle repeats.
If making a timetable was the solution to life में चाहिए था ही क्या, right? Everybody would make a timetable and succeed, but how do you stick to it? So, Pratibha, first of all, there are very many things that can be done. You'll have to see what out of these things works for you. So, for example, like, you'll have to really sit and find a why. Why do I want to study this? When you have a very clear why, the what to do and how to do it becomes much easier, right? So first find, okay, whatever I'm studying, are you just studying it for time pass? Are you just studying it because you're bored in life? Or let's say by becoming a gynecologist or psychiatrist, your aim is to really help people who are suffering, right? So first thing is find your why. Second thing is get to know yourself. Like, for example, the kind of person I am, my most brightest, part of the day is 4 p.m. onwards, right? Which is why I prefer the night calls and not the early morning 5 a.m. calls. So if I force myself to do these calls at like 5 or 6 in the morning, it'll be really hard for me. I'll be miserable. I won't be as bright and chirpy, right? So get to know your cycle. When are you most attentive? Even if you can find like a 1 hour slot or 2 hour slot in your day when you can do deep work, find that. It might be at 12 in the night. Like for me, my best time to study is 12 in the night. If I want to listen, learn something, 12 to 2, 3, 4, I can go on. But if you tell me wake up at 4 and study 4, 5, 6, 7, can't do it. Okay. So A, get to know your why. B, get to know yourself. Once you know this is the part of the day when I am my most focused or most easy to, pay attention, then remove all your distractions. Remove your phone, your mobile, your everything, and maybe for 5 or 10 minutes, do a meditation. There's a beautiful meditation on YouTube called the Soul Sync, SYNC, Soul Sync meditation. It's by the Ekam Foundation by Preeta Ji. Do that meditation. It helps me and my children and my clients. I send it to everybody. It helps me focus a lot. And then after doing that 7-8 minute meditation, when you sit to study, your mind is very, very calm and clear of all that chatter. Another beautiful thing which helps is getting your bars run. So one of the things I teach is the access consciousness bars. When your mind is constantly chatter, 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 like non-stop going on to a way that you just can't seem to find quiet, the bars are like a vacuum cleaner, which literally sucks out all your thoughts and, empties your head. So a lot of clients come back and say, there's complete peace and quiet in my head. What have you done? And I'm like, yeah, that's how our mind is normally supposed to be. We're just too used to the chatter. So getting your bars run is great. I mean, unfortunately, you're very far on 15th May in Bombay, I have a bars class happening. But unfortunately, you're not in my city. Otherwise, I would have invited you. So you can get your bars run by somebody locally in your city. Apart from that, of course, meditate, do some grounding. One of the things that also I could suggest, which really helps, is something called morning pages or stream of consciousness. Okay. This is mentioned in the book The Artist's Way by Julie Cameron. Yeah, I think so. Morning pages is where the first thing you get up in the morning and you write down everything that's coming your. So you literally do a mental vomit onto that page and remove all those thoughts from your system. So now the rest of the day, your mind is clear. Okay, do it for a month and see how it helps. These are some of the suggestions, but again, you'll have to see what works for you.
Hey, yeah, Janki, I'm so sorry to cut you off with a follow-up question. What do you mean by bar or something that you said? What is that?
Sure. I'll come to that, Aditi. Pratibha, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I used to write before. Before I used to write, I write a lot. Now, actually, writing is also has come to stuck. I just got stuck in something. I just don't know what it was.
I will find an Access Bars practitioner for you. Just mention WhatsApp me your city, and I will try and find a person who can run your bars because that is the most magical. After, if everything is not working, get your bars run.
Okay.
I'll
Thank
find
you,
you somebody. Just message me your city.
ma'am. Okay, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. I will
Okay.
message, ma'am. Okay. Okay.
You know Asha, right?
I think I have messaged before. That's how I got
Okay.
into. I know Gayatri, Dr.
Okay,
Gayatri.
anyway, I'll find someone for you. I'll find someone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, so what are the bars that I've been talking about? Access bars is a healing modality, which is, it's called access consciousness. The first level of the access consciousness way of life is called the access bars. The bars are 32 points on your head, which when gently touched, right? This becomes the vacuum cleaner, which literally starts pulling out all your thoughts, emotional charge, judgments, limitations, conclusions, assumptions, everything that is keeping you stuck. It just sucks out and deletes all those points of view so you can be free and you can tap into a world of possibilities, infinite possibilities again, instead of being stuck in trauma, drama, and limitations. Okay, so anytime that you are feeling stuck in life and not being able to tap into possibilities, get your bars run. Okay. And for those who are in Bombay, I'm teaching it on the 15th of March, which is this Friday. So if you're interested, just DM and I shall share details. Rupa, do you have a question? So good to see you.
Hi, Janki. After a long time connected to you. And today's topic is dare to be a beach. And I remember one lady from my circle, and I appreciate her a lot. मुझे पता है यहाँ से मैक्सिमम लोगों ने ये ऐसा कुछ सुना नहीं होगा कि ऐसा कोई कर भी सकता है। लिटरली उसे कोई भी सुनेगा तो बोलेगा ये बीच है। लेकिन what she has done, I want to share. I don't have a question, Janki. I want to share something. That lady married to that is cosmopolitan marriage, and उसने क्या कहा कि मैम she has done her psychology and something else she has done, वो educated है और उसने choose किया कि मैं घर में रहूंगी और बच्चे हुए उनको तो बच्चे है घर है तो शी इज टेकिंग every month some rupees amount of rupees from her husband कि मुझे आप ये amount every month देंगे एंड मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतना डेयरिंग किसी ने मैंने अभी तक सुना नहीं है आवर जनरेशन इज लाइक अपनी जनरेशन जो थी आगे की जो भी है एंड मैं अपने से 10 इयर्स के पीछे देखती हूँ तभी भी वो लोगों में ये नहीं है अभी भी जो है नहीं है ये जो 30-40 से ऊपर वाले हैं, दे चूज के मैं जो किचन का काम तो करना ही है, बाहर का काम करना ही है, बाहर जाऊंगी, घर का भी मैनेज करना ही है किसी भी तरह से, तो वो तो करना है, और बाद में उसके जो राइट्स लेने हैं वो थोड़े बहुत ले लेती है, खुश हो जाती है। लेकिन उसने चूज किया कि मुझे इस तरह से पैसे भी मिलेंगे, मैं अपनी सास को भी संभालूंगी, बच्चा भी किया, घर भी अच्छे से संभालती है, लेकिन उसने उसकी सैलरी ले ली। एंड ऐसा कोई रियली कोई भी सुनता है तो सब बोलते हैं कि ऐसा कैसे कर सकते हैं, ये कैसे लेडी कर सकती है, और
I love
बच्चा
it.
पैदा करने के लिए भी उसको सैलरी ले रही है, बोलती है कि मैं तेरा सरनेम लेकर आई हूँ, घर तेरा, सरनेम तेरी, बच्चा तेरा, मम्मी तेरी, उसके पापा भी थे, यानी वो सब तेरे, तो मेरा क्या है, तो मुझे सैलरी चाहिए, और वो
Yeah.
बिंदास होके वो लेती है, वो बिंदास रहती है हमेशा, एंड
And
आई रियली अप्रिशिएट हर।
I love it. I love it. I think this is a fabulous
Yes.
inspiration again, right? And if she can pull it off so elegantly, and if her family is happy, and they've all made her peace, their
Yeah,
peace with it.
they are
Hats off.
happy. हाँ, वो घर भी बराबर संभालती है, सब कुछ करती है, एवरीथिंग इज शी चोज के मैं करूंगी ये वाला, लेकिन मुझे चाहिए वो, एंड शी इज हैप्पी कि मैं दूसरा घर भी लूंगी, लेगी तो किसके लिए लेगी, अपने फैमिली के लिए लेगी ना, तो वो उसका ये नहीं कि
Amazing.
खुद पैसे लेके बहुत उड़ा रही है और कुछ बहुत खर्चा कर रही है, नो शी इज नॉट डूइंग दैट, वो बोल रही मैं दूसरा घर लूंगी, यानी इन्वेस्टमेंट ही होगा ना घर के लिए ही।
She's willing to receive.
या दैट्स गुड।
So amazing. So
या
amazing. Thank you for
या
sharing. That's very
या
inspiring.
या ये जनरेशन अभी चेंज हो रहा है नाउ, जनरेशन जो अभी जो है 30 के नीचे वाले हैं, वो तो ऐसे भी शेयरिंग में मानते हैं, माई सैलरी योर सैलरी एंड वी कंबाइंड, एंड हम घर चलाएंगे, और जो भी है रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी शेयर करेंगे, घर का काम भी शेयर करेंगे। दिस इज बिलो 30 वाले बच्चे कर रहे हैं, 30 आई थिंक सो 30 के नीचे ही बच्चे कर रहे हैं, और बाकी जो हमारी जनरेशन आगे वाली जितनी है 35-40 ऊपर, वो तो अभी तक वहां पे ही है कि घर कैसे छोड़ के जा सकते हैं, हम बच्चे कैसे छोड़ के जा सकते हैं, ऑलवेज दे आस्क खुद को, जब हम वैलिडेशन नहीं दे खुद को, और फिर तो दुनिया बोलने ही वाली है। तो दिस इज द एग्जाम्पल, तो मुझे कब से स्टोरी याद आ रही थी, आप बाय लिसनिंग योर दिस
Amazing.
पॉडकास्ट।
Amazing.
या
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
यस
Super, super inspiring. And this is it. I think this is the ultimate elegance of a woman who's willing to demand her rights, stand up for herself, speak what she feels is right, get honored for being who she wants to be, is okay to be judged by the people who are saying, oh my God, how can she demand a salary for her own family? What kind of woman is she? But she is happy today. Her family is happy. She is able to serve them with more dignity, respect, and joy because she knows she is being honored in the process. Right? So, that I think is the perfect end to this call. In summary, I would just like to invite each one of you, get to know yourself, get to know, what do I really deserve? What do I really love? Why do I let people control me by their judgments? Am I willing to now step out of that boundary of judgments and really explore all the things that I would love to have in my life? And over the, I think we have 3 calls left. We're going to talk about how to create a life you love, waking up to, right? Having all the things that you want without all the judgments. So we are going to move forward. Thank you all for joining. It's absolutely fantastic. It's again way beyond time. So I'm not going to continue this call today, but I will see you all tomorrow. Please share your feedback in the chat box. I want a Google review. I hope everybody has subscribed to the YouTube channel where these sessions are being uploaded. I hope you are following me on Instagram. And if anyone is in Bombay and willing to, explore the bars class, which is the possibilities mindset, I
Ma'am,
would love
is it
to
on
have you there
15th
as well.
March or 15th May?
15th March.
March. I'll try
Bye,
to
love.
come, ma'am.
Next
Bye,
class.
guys. Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Lots of love.
गुड नाइट।
Bye.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.